All right. It is 1 minute past 2 Eastern Time. Hello, everybody. I'm Nancy Abramson from Compass Media Networks, and welcome to Maximize the Power of SPECai's new features, streamlining workflow and boosting sales. Also on this Zoom with me is my colleague, Sydney, who I call the AI Queen, and Tom Green from vCreative. And also Adam Parati is joining us as well from Connoisseur, Connecticut, who is our AI superstar. Most of you on this call, on this Zoom, are SPECai users who are here to hear about success stories and about some of our new features, which includes SPECai integration into vCreative. And for those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome. SPECai allows sellers to create spec commercials in minutes using AI scripts, AI voices, and music produced by Benztown. This is a joint effort between Benztown, Compass Media Networks, their largest radio syndication company, and Enco, who handles all our technology. As we move through the webinar, please put your questions into the chat, and at the end of the webinar, we'll answer them. So let's welcome our first guest, our AI superstar, Adam Parati, who's the account executive from Connoisseur Media in Connecticut and one of our first clients. So we really wanted him to join us because he can talk to us about all the successes that he has had with SPECai and how the service has helped him boost sales. So hey, Adam, good to see you again. Thanks for participating. So Adam, you have had such great success using SPECai. So could you just tell us a little bit about how and when you use the service?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I just wanted to thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to kind of sharing my experience with the software. So really how I find myself using the service is really to trigger a meeting, whether that's through emailing the spec to a client or walking in on cold call sessions out on the road and playing it for, the receptionist, or if the business owner is present. But really to trigger that meeting and to create some sort of excitement with them. So I'll visit their website prior to going in, or if I see a billboard or a print ad, trying to create some synergy with that messaging. I'll create a spec with it and then walk in or email it to them or call them and kind of just trigger some sort of excitement by letting them know I created a custom commercial for you, saw that you were running print ads and offering 50% off for your spring sale. So I wanted to kind of merge that into a radio ad for you.
Do you find that you use the specs mostly for cold calling or after CNA? Like, what's your process?
Yeah,
What's
great
your
question.
process?
So I actually use it in both. I find myself, as mentioned, using it in that cold calling process to trigger the excitement and try to get a meeting. But I will also use it after I had already had that initial meeting and potentially even had a CNA with the prospect. And reason being there is now the spec isn't me guessing what their messaging is based on previous advertising. I'll be able to have a discussion with them to know what the messaging is that they're trying to push, what their goals are, and then I can create something that's custom to them based off of that CNA. So even things like custom slogans for them, I'm able to embed that into the spec and create the commercial for them.
So what would you say is the general response to the spec that you've created through SPECai?
Yeah, I found that clients really love the commercials. And even when I'll mention that it's AI and be fully transparent with them, they're even more fascinated by the AI. I think AI it's a hot topic. It's something that's trending and it's very innovative in businesses right now. So to be able to talk about that with the client and then let them know how I got to that final spec based on, voices that I was able to choose and how it was kind of coming out to be expressed. But they're very fascinated by it and will ask questions. But I'll usually get into it and let them know that it's AI, and most of the time they're okay with running with it.
So do any of these spots ever make it on the air?
Absolutely, yeah. I've had a few different clients who've had their commercials get to air right from SPECai. It'll go through our production team for approval. Once it's approved, we just schedule it through vCreative to begin running. And yeah, I've had a few clients that have ran it, still are running, and are very satisfied with it.
Wow. So how long does it take you personally to create a spec?
Very quickly, actually, like the actual process of putting it in very quickly. But like I had mentioned, I'll try to make it custom for that client or the prospect by creating synergy amongst their other messaging. So, like I said, whether that's seeing one of their previous advertisements or going on their website or going on their social media to find out what they're currently trying to push and what their messaging sounds like and then creating that spec for them. But honestly, it could all be done within minutes, which is very beneficial. The ones that will take a little bit more time are the very custom ones of having that CNA with the client, understanding what messaging and slogans they want to put out there, and then coming back to the office and creating that spec for them.
So yeah, you said that some spots have come on the air. You were nice enough to give us one to share. So we're going to play that right now. And then you could tell us a little bit. That would be really great if you could tell us the process on this
Awesome. Yeah.
particular spot.
Yep.
We're just waiting.
When the unexpected hits, you need LTKE Law. Specializing in personal injury law, we're the lawyers you need when you're facing the unimaginable. Our track record places us among the top-ranked U.S. firms, with the best lawyers in America among our ranks. Our expertise is affirmed by the National Board of Trial Advocacy. Don't navigate your journey alone. Visit ltke.com or call us at 203-333-3333. The lawyers you need when you need a lawyer.
Did everyone hear that all right? Great. Yeah, that sounded like you better get a lawyer right now. I mean,
Yeah.
in a lot of those spots, they don't sound like AI. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with it creatively and then when you played it for the particular client.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was one of the cases where I had actually went and met with the prospect, had my CNA with them, and then came back and created the spec, which then in that second meeting played it for them and ultimately ended up closing the business, which was great. But meeting with their marketing director, I initially kind of went through what their messaging would be, any custom slogans. So you heard a slogan there at the end of the lawyers you need when you need a lawyer. So things like that really stood out in the commercial that, within 24 hours, I was able to come back to the office, create a custom commercial for them with all of their slogans and messaging embedded into it, and then go back and play it for them. But something that was actually funny with that was when we were discussing, initially, we thought to have one of the attorneys or one of the lawyers come in and voice the commercial. But once I had generated that commercial and me and their marketing director kind of titled the voice of it as like a movie trailer voice. It was very deep and serious. And that's what, you feel like you hear a lot of commercials with that tone of voice. So we thought it was really good. It sounded really professional. And we ultimately ended up deciding to not have one of the lawyers come in and voice it and just have that air right as it was.
Well, yeah, that is just a fantastic example of how SPECai works. So thank you so much for joining us, Adam, and that's why you are AI superstar. Um, um, if you want to ask Adam some questions afterwards, you could put them into the chat. I don't know if you have to go and do some more selling, Adam, but if you do stick around, we'll ask you to answer some questions.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. As you guys just saw, the whole premise of SPECai is to save you time and allow you to be more efficient. Takes the load off of salespeople if they're writing their own spots, or it helps your production team so that they don't have to necessarily create specs. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hand things over to Sydney, who's, as I mentioned, our AI queen, and she's quickly going to show you how easy it is to create a spec. And then, for those of you that already know our service, she's going to show you some of our new services. So, all right, Sydney, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Adam. That was really wonderful. So I'm going to take you guys through how to create a fully produced custom spec spot today, starting with step one, which is generate copy. So I went ahead and chose our advertiser, which today is going to be Texas Roadhouse. I will show you a 30-second spot today to show you what this can do. So under advertiser, I put Texas Roadhouse, subject, barbecue and steak restaurant, and creative notes. Everything is made fresh from scratch. They have legendary food and legendary service that starts with taking no shortcuts. Now for the address, I'm going to go ahead and skip that this time. I'll skip the phone number and the website as well. But then we get to writing style. So for this one, I think I'm going to go with humorous, something funny, lighthearted. And of course, the language is going to be American English. So let's generate that ad copy. That is going to generate 3 separate 30-second scripts for us. So let's take a look. Here's copy 1, copy 2, and copy 3. I won't make you read all 3, but let's go ahead with copy 3 here. So this would be the time that we would read through and make any changes, but I'll just go ahead and save those changes here. And now we get to the fun part. Now, this is also where you would replace anything that may be phonetically difficult for the AI to pronounce, possibly a street name or the name of a business. In this case, it looks like we should be okay, but we can always go back to that step if we find the AI has difficulty pronouncing any particular words. Now, for this spot, a Texas Roadhouse barbecue spot, I think we should go with a male Southern voice. So I already know I'm a huge fan of Jesse. So let's go ahead and take a listen to his voice sample. Let me just make sure I am sharing my computer sound here, and let's take a listen.
Breeze through radio spec ad creation with my AI voice.
I think he just sounds perfect for a Texas Roadhouse spot. So I'm going to go ahead into those options. And I usually like to start by bringing up the emotion a little bit and bringing up the exaggeration. Now let's hear Jesse read our spot.
Welcome to Texas Roadhouse, where the steaks are juicier than a Texas rainstorm, and the barbecue is so good, even vegetarians have second thoughts. Our chefs work harder than a prairie dog in a pie-eating contest to ensure everything is made fresh from scratch. Forget shortcuts. Our legendary food and legendary service are more authentic than a cowboy's boots. Saddle up for a taste of Texas that's more satisfying than finding the last parking spot.
Well, I think Jesse sounded just perfect for this. That was a very funny script as well. So let's go ahead in, and I think for a music bed for this particular spot, I think we have to go with country. So let's take a listen to Good Times Here. So I think that will work very well with the spot, and we can take a listen to those mixed together. So let's go ahead. I'm going to set the music volume a little bit lower and set that voice volume a bit higher. Let's take a listen to that mixed audio.
Welcome to Texas Roadhouse, where the steaks are juicier than a Texas rainstorm, and the barbecue is so good, even vegetarians have second thoughts. Our chefs work harder than a prairie dog in a pie-eating contest to ensure everything is made fresh from scratch. Forget shortcuts. Our legendary food and legendary service are more authentic than a cowboy's boots. Saddle up for a taste of Texas that's more satisfying than finding the last parking spot.
Wonderful. So now that we have our mixed audio, we can go ahead and take a look at our newest addition to SPECai, which is Lead Genie. So Lead Genie enables your salespeople to send this audio file directly from the service without having to go outside to their email. And this email is entirely customizable. You would just insert the email address of your client here, so of the Texas Roadhouse, and go ahead and send it through your default email, which is just a really wonderful way to save some time. You would also, of course, be able to download it normally, clicking here, and it would go to your downloads wherever you keep them. For me in Safari, it would be up here in this corner. And the second newest aspect of the service that I'm very excited to show you today is going to be InstaSpot, actually. So InstaSpot is a way to create a fully produced spec spot without even having to fill out that first prompt text. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new ad, but we're going to use Texas Roadhouse again. So I'll go here to InstaSpot, and I'm going to go ahead and put in texasroadhouse.com. Now, this is going to scrub the website for any information. It's going to pick the voice and pick that music bed and leave us with a fully produced spot. Let's take a listen.
Taste the authentic flavor of the Wild West at Texas Roadhouse. Dive into hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, and irresistible made-from-scratch sides. Our legendary bread is freshly baked and waiting for you at your table. With a family-friendly atmosphere and Texas-sized hospitality, there's something for everyone. Visit TexasRoadhouse.com to explore our full menu, find a location near you, and experience the unforgettable dine-in adventure that keeps folks coming back for more. Hurry in today.
So as you can tell, this is a wonderful way to save your salespeople time, as well as just to get some ideas flowing for a new spot. If this is a new client or someone you're less familiar with, it will take those talking points directly from the website and save you some time. Of course, you can go back to any particular step. You can go back to edit copy, change the copy. If you prefer Jesse over Jennifer, we can go ahead back here and change the voice and the music bed as well, if you'd like a more country style music bed. But this is a great way to just get the ball rolling and get some ideas. And of course, as you know, this is all available at the tips of your fingers on your phone as well. So say that you were to get a call in the car, you could just do this right before you walked into your meeting. And the last, newest addition to the service that I'm going to be showing you today is actually going to be our cloning. Now, cloning is another way to save your salespeople time and to save your clients time. So say that you have a client who regularly is voicing spots. You could go ahead and clone their voice so that way they wouldn't have to come in every week to change their script. So let's go ahead and check out cloning. The biggest thing for cloning is, of course, getting that person's permission. Today, I'm going to show you cloning with our host, Gordon Deal's voice. Of course, we have permission to clone him for this exercise. You may know him from This Morning with Gordon Deal. So let's take a listen to Gordon Deal reading our spot on Texas Roadhouse.
Taste the authentic flavor of the Wild West at Texas Roadhouse. Dive into hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, and irresistible made-from-scratch sides. Our legendary bread is freshly baked and waiting for you at your table. With a family-friendly atmosphere and Texas-sized hospitality, there's something for everyone. Visit TexasRoadhouse.com to explore our full menu, find a location near you, and experience the unforgettable dine-in adventure that keeps folks coming back for more. Hurry in today.
Wonderful. So people are very excited about cloning. We are exceptionally excited about cloning. And I'm really excited to hear all of your questions. But Nancy, if you'd like to...
Yeah, so as we said, we do have Gordon's permission to use that. You might be familiar with Gordon. He's on 300 radio stations. So that is a familiar voice. So as Sydney just showed you, I mean, this whole process is really fast. And like I said, we did it in a very quick way. So those of you who already use SPECai are familiar with it. For those of you who are not, afterwards we can arrange, a trial and show you a little bit more about the service. But one thing I did want to play for you today is Adam played one of his spots. We wanted to show you a sample of another group that used the cloning. What they did is they actually cloned one of their production people's voices, and then they added some production elements and their own music. So would you play that for us, Sydney?
Ladies, get ready, it's about to go down. It's happening live at Club Vivo, Sunday, April 6th. It's Boots, Dukes, and Bands.
I got my
The ultimate black Western day party. Put your cowboy boots on the ground, get your two-step moves ready for the hottest black rodeo vibe in the city. Live performances by Taylor Morgan and Front Cover Band with DJ Bogey and DJ Red, the MC Live in the mix. For RSVP, don't forget to grab one of our exclusive signature drinks sponsored by Infinite Spirits. Tickets and tables, log on to bootsandbands.eventbrite.com.
Where them fans at? Where them fans?
It's going down real big Sunday, April 6th, kicking off at 4 p.m. to midnight at Club Vivo. Don't miss it.
So yeah, when we heard that, that blew us away. But basically, AI wrote the script, and then they had a clone read the script. Then they downloaded the script, and then the production person created the magic, added the effects, and added their own music. And you know what we love about that so much is there's just a great example of how AI can work within your framework. Together, we create some really great commercials. So, you know, between what I've showed you and Sydney and Adam, our whole goal here is to show you how we save you time and make your life easier. And one of the new additions to SPECai that is definitely going to be saving you time is we are now integrated with vCreative. It's a brand new feature. And Tom Green is joining us from vCreative to show us how the integration works. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Nancy. Pinch hitting in for my boss today, who's under the weather, unfortunately. But the PPO or the vCreative connection to SPECai is really, really easy to use. We are looking at a submitted production order right now that is in what we call our list view. And touch point number one would be if you filled out this order and you want to make that request to SPECai, there is a link over in the files column that will take you over there. What we probably expect to be the more traditional workflow would be during order entry. And so we're opening up this production order. And for those of you who have seen vCreative PPO, you're probably familiar with it. You've got your client name, your spot title, your ISKI. As you work your way down through the order, you would be required to at least have your client name in there and your spot link, but you've got your SPECai link down inside of the details of the production order. You would click that and it would take you to your SPECai login. You saw the magic that Sydney had earlier. You would simply walk through and create that. At the bottom of that page, there is a download and return to vCreative button. And so if you did download and return to vCreative, you would end up just refreshing your vCreative page and you would end up seeing your production order now updated with the SPECai proof. That's a specific file type we've created for this. So here is your audio. You could play it, you could download it. Also, that script that you selected from those selections would be embedded inside of PPO. So you would have your script that came over from SPECai as well. And if you're using our send email function inside of vCreative PPO, you could send this information off to your client and send them both the script and the audio for their ability to review it and hopefully approve it. So again, super simple on our side. There are those two links to SPECai, one in the list view, one inside of the order. Once your SPECai request is completed, it comes back to PPO. So it's right there on your production order and it's ready to go through the workflow inside of your building. So very, very simple. Hopefully that makes sense. And if there are additional questions, let us know. Nancy, that's the whole thing right there.
I know, you make it seem so easy. And like I said, that's the premise of this, just to make life easier for you and more efficient. We've got a lot of tools that you can use. We have a lot of clients using the service. I see, you know, many familiar faces on here: Connoisseur, Yavapai, Brazos. And so we're here to answer any questions right now. I see a couple on here. Someone asked, how do you upload the custom voice? Sydney, do you want to take control of the screen?
Sure, absolutely.
Because there are a couple of questions that are actually about the usage.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you would upload the custom voice by clicking this Upload Custom button. Then you would go ahead and browse your files, or you could go ahead and drop your file in here. Of course, this would be if your package includes cloning. If it does not include cloning, you would then not be able to upload a custom voice.
So yeah, I mean, Suzanne, are our emails around here? I think it's on the, maybe on the opening page. So,
Yes, and I'll go ahead and I'll have a screen with all of our contact information and stuff, and everyone will receive a follow-up email after this with all
right. So if you know you need more information about cloning, either Sydney and I can call you and help you through that. Someone else asked, can you go over changing the pitch and speed of the voice?
Right, that is a wonderful question. So we are not able to change the speed of the voice within the service. However, you would be able to download the audio without music, and then you could change the voice from there with your production team.
But you can also add the emotion.
Yes, of course. You can add emotion. That would be under options. You can drag the emotion here, as well as the exaggeration.
Yeah, we find it's better. I like to just listen to it once and then make a decision if I need to make it more emotional. But you can go back and forth. You could keep changing it as many times as you want. Another question was, how does the return email address show up when you use Lead Genie?
When you use Lead Genie, the return address, I believe, shows up as your default email because you would be sending it. So from Lead Genie, let's just go back down here quickly. Oh, sorry, just 1 second here. It's going to show up like this. So if I were to send it to myself, and then I could do it from the SPECai email, which would mean that it would come from ours, or if you did it from your default email, your email would actually show up in a pop-up. So it would show up as Outlook and it would come from you. So you could do it either way.
Thank you. So, are there any more questions? I know there are a lot of people on the call. Is everyone all familiar with everything on here? I mean, our goal is to make it simple. We don't want to make it complicated. You know, Sydney and I are salespeople like you are. We're not production people per se, but we've become really good at presenting this, you know, without to sound arrogant, because we do have a lot of clients now. But, you know, the premise here is to make it simple for you. You know, you don't have to go to anybody else to create your specs. You can do it yourself. And if you want to involve your production team in, as we did with the cloning, well, we give you the tools to do so. Our whole goal here is to make your life easier, streamline the workflow, and help you make more money. I'm just seeing if there are any more questions. I don't think so. I hope this was helpful to everybody. Suzanne, did I miss anything? Did we miss anything?
No, I think we got everything, and I have the contact page up now, so if anyone wants to take a screenshot of that, and I also dropped it in the chat, but we will follow up with a video of this recording, and if anyone has any questions after that, they are welcome to, they know who to reach out to.
All right, we'll be in touch. Oh, any update on using multiple voices? Okay, that's a good one, Todd. We're working on it. So we do know some people that actually do multiple voices in which they create the spot twice. You know, they'll do it with someone reading the spot and then a male reading the spot, female reading the spot, and then they'll mix it locally. So, but we are, you know, we're constantly enhancing this service. I mean, we have a lot of great urban voices now, and that's based on the fact that we have a lot of customers that needed urban voices, and someone asked us for a holiday. So a lot of this is just, you know, the improvements to the service are based on the needs of our clients. So for those of you that work with us, you know that we're very customer centric. And if you don't, know that we're constantly working to improve and enhance this. So there we go. And John, yay, new client. Thank you, Brazos. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you in the AI world.